Today we're going to be attempting to play Fairy Tale Minecraft for 100 days. So I want to go from a beginner magician to a master celestial spirit wizard who can summon 3 spirits at once. And my end goal is to defeat the mighty Fenrir, as that is the trial to become a wizard state. So let's get straight into it. So on day 1, my path to becoming the greatest wizard started by choosing my magic, as this is what I'll be training to get to the very top of the wizarding world. So there's various classes that I'm seemingly able to pick, but I chose Celestial Spirit Magic as it would allow me to summon spirits who will fight on my behalf. So now it was time to choose our guild. So I wanted to join Fairy Tale, because it seemed always like the strongest one in the show as well, so I figured it would probably be the same here. So it seems there's a tutorial quest, let's have a look at it. So we need to look at the request board to see what kind of missions there is for us to do. So it's the missions like these that will give us the money. So this is Tropy's Melon Farm, and I just got an agility medal as well. So I'm not sure what that's for, but let's find out. So with the money that we'll get from this quest, we can buy all kinds of items and magic, so it's always good to do such things. It is actually a shame though that I have to hand in these melons, or I'd certainly like to have made a farm with them. Maybe I should just rob the guy, I'm a bit undecided. So it seems there's another part of the tutorial, and we've actually just found out what the medals are for. So if we apparently collect all of those medals, we can turn them in. Okay. So now it was time for us to set out into the wild, because we needed to make our own home, we needed food, we needed to make tools and the like. So obviously we start out by beating up some pigs. And luckily there's some wood nearby as well, so we'll chop down those and make ourselves some tools. And we've also got pork for us to cook and eat. As always, we've got to chop down the trees with our bare hands until we've got the tools. It is actually getting a bit late now, so we need to start making our own home as well as gather more materials, because we're going to want better tools as well as iron. So I've chosen to make my home in this strange little cavern. I'm going to mine it out now. We're certainly increasing our mining skill a lot, and now we've also leveled up our martial arts as well, so that is very good. And now that we've got a furnace, we can start cooking our food, because our hunger is starting to get very low, especially after we've had to do those fights. Choosing to become a Celestial Spirit Wizard definitely saved us there, as even though it's only the very first key, it definitely helped me ward off all the hostile monsters. We started day 2 by mining for more resources, such as coal and iron, so we could make some armor as well as better tools. Now that we've smelted the iron, we can finally begin crafting the tools and armor that we need to begin our proper journey. Next, we travelled away from Magnolia and visited Harjon's magic store, so that I could buy myself some magic as well as a wizard staff. The 3 items certainly did actually cost me a bit more than I was hoping, as I only had 5,000 jewels. On day 3, I went exploring and managed to stumble upon a village, which was actually perfect as I was unfortunately drastically low on food. So I collected everything that was there to take, and then after more careful inspection of the village, I also found some bookshelves, which I stole with glee. After this, something surprising happened. I managed to find an ancient ruin. I honestly wasn't expecting that. So this place was completely full of dangerous monsters. So I looked through all the chests and all the rewards and actually found a unique magic scroll and token. So while on my way to the next chest, or rather to continue exploring, I was chased by some crazy monster and I was just like, nope. Then I used the scroll to try roll a good magic, and I got myself Magical Chef. So I haven't actually yet figured out what it does, and then I used the token to get my skill level up with the unique magic up as well. And later then, I actually managed to find a Celestial Spirit Key chest as well, which I 100% was just not expecting. This was definitely a welcome surprise. On day 4, I went deep into the earth to mine for some diamonds, and I was actually lucky enough to come across a large cavern which had ores all over the place, including diamonds. So unsurprisingly, mining diamonds completely power leveled my mining stat, which was just even better. I was lucky enough to find enough diamonds to make myself a full set of the armor as well as tools, and I did that straight away, simply because if we want to go any further than this, we're definitely going to be needing at least a full set of diamond. By this point, we'd actually leveled every single skill at least once, and we got the medals for all of them, so we turned them into Yajima at Harjon to proceed with the tutorial course. After a lot of training, on day 10 it was finally time to do my first combat quest. I decided to do a quest for Lucy in Harjon to fight Bora. This was my first time fighting an actual wizard who actually uses magic. On day 11, I felt that my house was severely lacking, so I started off by expanding it. Then I lit it up with torches so that I wouldn't be walking around in the dark. After this, I also wanted to secure my food supply, so I then mined out an area to make a farm. I made sure the room was well lit so the crops would grow. After this, I used some of the iron I'd smelted to create some buckets to gather water with. I gathered enough that I could create an infinite source to make expanding the farm much easier. I then dug up a bunch of dirt with my new diamond shovel as I needed it to grow the crops in. After this, I made a diamond hoe with my last diamonds and finally began farming. On days 12 and 13, I worked tirelessly to enchant my armor as I took some serious damage in the fight against Bora. Without my spirit, I most likely would have lost. So I started out by searching for sugarcane, and then after this I searched deep underground for any obsidian I could find. Though because of my terrible luck, I managed to actually fall into the lava, and I barely survived. After this, I attempted to enchant my helmet, however I entirely forgot I just didn't have enough XP levels. So I went on a monster murder spree to get the XP I need. On day 14, I went out to train and actually managed to find a Celestial Spirit Key. So I opened it right up and I managed to get myself a custom silver key which had the Chained Lady Andromeda in it. So I just had to summon her right away. On day 17, I decided it was finally time to up my game and fight a monster boss, the No Life King. So I used the Gate of the Archer key, which I found on day 16, but unfortunately I did lose the footage. So this was actually a fairly tough fight as he had double the HP of Bora, which was unexpected. The magic of the No Life King was terrifying, he was stealing my life the entire fight. Luckily, the Prominence Whip, which I got from Bora, did a fair amount of damage, and I even leveled up my martial arts some more. On day 22, I decided to put my training to good use by fighting a spider monster, Arachnos. So this was actually a ridiculous fight, as she was moving through webs constantly, and I was even forced to fight off her numerous children. Without Leo, I am really not sure I would have been able to win this fight, but that is what being a Celestial Spirit Wizard is all about. On day 24, I figured I'd finally raised enough cash, so I went to a city I'd never visited before, Era. So that was where the Magic Council was stationed, and then I went to the magic store and bought myself a new key, the Silver Key of the Liar. On day 25, I wanted to take measure of my magical prowess by attempting a difficult combat quest, Infiltrate Evelu, where we have to defeat Evelu and steal the Daybreak book for the recipient, KB Melon. So the maids were strong, but not nearly enough to deter me. The main problem was how many of them there were, and after I defeated them, that was when the real problem came, which was the Vanish brothers. Both were so athletically powerful that they had me and my spirit, Leo, just running around looking like we were fighting thin air. Then the unexpected happened. After I killed the younger brother, I was defeated by the older brother. After that, I dusted myself off and tried again and won, and then moved on to Evelu, who put up a good fight, but ultimately he was just a local lord with very little combat experience. On day 26, I really took notice of how much we just got wrecked by the Vanish brothers, so I trained hard. On day 27, I came across a strange magical creature, a Dragonute. It was hostile towards me, so I summoned my spirit and decided to try fight it, but this was a big mistake. It was far stronger than anything or anyone I had fought before, and inevitably, I got defeated. Not even my spirit could save me. On day 28, I was lucky enough to come across another Celestial Spirit Key, which turned out to be the Gate of the Paired Fish Zodiac Key. On day 29, I decided to take a quest to rescue a young boy who foolishly had gone off into the den of a monster pack. I had to fight my way through vicious Vulcans, then deal with the rest so he could get out safely. I hope he's managed to learn his lesson and will no longer try going off into the caves of monsters, at least not until he's as powerful as I am. On day 30, I figured I'd test out the results of all the training I had done, so I decided to try deal with Eisenwald alongside Urza. So first we had to gather information which led us to Kageyama at Oshibana. So I was able to quickly deal with him thanks to how powerful Leo was, otherwise this fight could have gone any number of ways. After dealing with Kageyama, I went to explore the town a bit and see if there was anything interesting at all. And then I came upon the magic store, where a magic rifle was being sold. So unfortunately we don't actually have enough money to buy it. I'll have to come back later when I'm rich enough to do so. On day 31, it was time to deal with Erigor before he finished his evil plot which would surely harm many innocent people. So we followed him down the rail tracks. For this one, I chose Leo, who it turned out actually really helped tank the magic abilities of Erigor. It was a bit of a rough fight, but ultimately, my celestial spirit magic definitely paid off. Erigor's title as the Death God was certainly very well deserved, as his wind magic was just insane. On day 33, I took a request from a poor fisherman who seemed to be in a spot of trouble. So the lake he normally fishes from seems to have turned dead with no fish to catch at all. So he asks us to go to the bottom of the lake because he believes something is eating all the other fish. When we get down there, we come across something which seems to be some kind of ruins, though I have absolutely no clue what they're related to. And then we find a terrifying fish monster which actually uses magic, and we have to rely so badly on our spirits for this one, because this thing is insane. On day 35, I might have actually gotten a little cocky, because I actually took a request to deal with an entire Dark Guild all by myself. Though I certainly did have the help of my Celestial Spirit Leo for this one. Honestly, I regretted my choice of attempting this alone, because they were by no means weak at all, and I barely pulled through. It certainly would have been helpful to have other mages with me on this one. I have to admit, at some point I started worrying, because oddly enough I could no longer see any more of these trifold demons, the Dark Wizards. So I thought they must have had some stealth activated, and it seems they did, because they popped up out of nowhere and pretty much ambushed me. On day 36, I encountered something I never thought I would. A lost Mildian Guardian. It seems to have been some form of automated guardian for the old Mildian city, which must have guarded their treasures. It could even use magic. It was constantly pulling me about, as well as propelling itself everywhere. I definitely needed to have trained more before encountering this thing, I'm not gonna lie. It even had magic to bind me, which terrified me for a moment there. Luckily, with the help of my spirit, I barely pulled through and achieved the win. But then the reward was definitely worth it, and I was shocked. It was a Dragon Slayer Lacrima of the Dark Element. I implanted it into myself right away, and I am now a Dragon Slayer. This is definitely the happiest I've been since obtaining Celestial Spirit Magic. On day 37, I figured it was time I truly helped out the guild. I took a request from Mira Jane to fight off Phantom Lord by assaulting them at their guild hall. After dealing with Totemaru, Sol, Juvia and Arya, it was time for me to face Gadgiel, and he definitely deserved his title as the strongest wizard of Phantom Lord. He almost killed me in just a few shots, so I was forced to run away and hide while I allowed my spirit to do all the work for me. It was worth it though, as I got myself a very strong weapon drop, the Iron Dragon's Sword. On day 40, it was finally time for me to try the S-Class trial to become an S-Class Wizard of Fairy Tail. So I got unlucky, and Makarov actually matched me up against the scariest woman of Fairy Tail, Urza. The woman who just doesn't know how to hold back. She actually even used her equips against me, and she had some terrifying weapons. Luckily, my spirit did a large portion of the work for me, and me training before the trial definitely paid off, or I most likely would have just died. I got something strange as a reward. God Serena's Backblade, which looked absolutely amazing, as well as the S-Class title of course, which meant I could now do S-Class quests, which means I can earn a lot more money so I can buy even more keys and magic. On day 41, I celebrated my becoming an S-Class wizard by attempting my first S-Class quest. I took one that seemed relatively easy, lifting the curse of Galuna Island. Ultimately, it turned out that a guy called Leon and his gang were performing a strange ritual which actually formed a large filter in the sky, affecting the residents of the island in a very odd way. After defeating Leon, everything went back to normal as they stopped the ritual, and I received my reward, as well as learning a spell from Leon himself. On day 42, I went exploring some more and found another Celestial Spirit Key, which turned out to be another Zodiac Key, the Golden Gate of the Giant Crab Key, Cancer. On day 49, I decided to do another S-Class quest, which was to kill the Flute Demon of the Zerif's Book of Black Magic. I encountered a strange magical creature called a Lacrima Beast and killed it. After this, I had to face off against Lullaby, a freaking giant demon which could shoot lasers and use death magic. Luckily by this point I had trained my magic enough that I could actually open 2 gates at once, so I summoned both Leo the Lion and Sagittarius the Archer. Honestly, with only one fight, this fight would definitely have ended very badly for me. After defeating it, I got a magic called Lullaby's Tune, which seems to be a sound magic. On day 56, I heeded Levy's cry. Laxus was being up to no good and forcing the members of Fairy Tail to fight and injure each other for no good reason. He demanded Makarov show up at Cardia Cathedral to fight him, however, Makarov had fallen ill from the stress. So Levy asked me to fight in his place. Laxus was certainly arrogant for a reason though. His lightning magic and even his physical prowess were leagues above my own. I barely pulled off a win thanks to my spirits going all out. Though my Dragon Slayer magic definitely helped me, especially the Dark Dragon's Void spell. On day 62, I came along with my guild to Tenrojima as a Proctor due to my title as an S-class wizard, and Grimoire Heart invaded, so I had to help out my guild by joining the fight. I was faced off against Zancro first, and his magic is absolutely insane. The flames are strong and the explosiveness is just terrifying. Just one hit did a large portion of my health, and from that moment on, I took the fight a lot more seriously. I summoned both Leo and Sagittarius to help me in this fight, because Zancro is just definitely strong. But it's to be expected as he's a member of Grimoire Heart's Kin of Purgatory. I played this fight at range by using my ranged magic, as his magic would just obliterate me at close quarters. I at least had the option of dodging his Flame God's Slayer magic if I had distance to see it coming. The fight lasted a while as I was fighting very conservatively, not risking getting close twos often, as I found that whenever I did, I'd just get blasted to bits. On day 64, it was finally the time to take down Hades. We dealt with the other members of Grimoire Heart, including Blue Note, so now Hades is all that's left. I say this, but he is still their guild master, so no doubt he's someone to be feared. Despite his advanced age, he was very spry. His speed left me very surprised. Luckily, we got a weapon drop, the Flame God Scythe from Zancro, so our offensive potential was now far higher. I blasted Hades with literally all the magic I had. I foolishly got into close quarters, but it was worth it as my own offensive capabilities were high, so the trade-off was worth it. Without the Flame God Scythe, this certainly would have been a much different fight. On day 73, Tartaros's cube had flown over Magnolia, laying waste to the city. I fought Keys so that I could stop his necromancy curse from making victims of anyone else. Keys literally summoned wave after wave of skeletal minions to attack me, and he kept spouting about pretty much just how little he thinks of mankind. The fight lasted for a ridiculously long time as I just couldn't touch him while he was in his magical barrier particles form, and we pretty much had to just run away during this as well. So I actually spent a lot of the fight dealing with his minions. When he finally died, we also got a surprising weapon drop, the Kakara, which had even higher damage than the Flame God Scythe. On day 77, it was now time to bring down Mard Gear. We dealt with every other demon involved in the attack. His Thorn Curse was very hard to deal with. He kept creating thorns to try to pierce me, and I hoped I dodged most of them, but inevitably, I still got hit by quite a few. I used all the magic I had at my disposal for this fight. The guy's resilience was just incredible. The full-on assault from me and my two spirits wasn't doing nearly much as I hoped. However, we were wearing him down gradually. I decided to attempt a full frontal assault to finish him off. While it was certainly successful, the amount of damage he did to me was ridiculous. It easily could have gone any other way. When the fight was over, I was just relieved more than anything. He was a very powerful guy, and it took everything I had to beat him. I could have easily lost in that fight, so I was just happy. On day 81, I was out training some more as my final goal is still to become a Wizard Saint, when I found another Celestial Spirit Key, which turned out to be the 13th key, Ophiuchus. On day 82, we actually encountered another Lost Mildian Guardian, though this time was very different. I was so much stronger compared to last time. While its movement and magic was still really annoying to deal with, it just wasn't nearly as much of a threat as it used to be. And it gave me a God Slayer book of the Forest element, so now I'm actually a God and Dragon Slayer of 2 elements. This is definitely the boost that I need to be able to become a Wizard Saint, so this was very well timed. Though I definitely still need to train a lot more for the next 15 or so days. On day 99, we were finally ready. I wanted to make my mark on the wizarding world of Fiore. I'm attempting to fight Fenrir for the Wizard Saint title. I'm certainly glad we trained so hard, and it turned out to have twice the HP of any boss we've fought so far. And it seems the stories hold true. The mighty Fenrir is a master of lightning magic, and every bolt of lightning I heard just shook me to my very core. If I didn't get the Forest Goodslayer book, I'm not sure if we would have won this. I had to give it my all for this fight. To fight Fenrir, I was forced to open 3 gates at once, including the 13th gate of Heroes. For this fight, I certainly relied heavily on my spirits to do a lot of damage for me, as well as disturb its ability to chase me. At the end of the fight, my spirits were so worn out that I had to quickly summon other ones before Fenrir killed me. However, I wasn't able to do so as my magic power was already drained from the fight thus far. I just went ham with my Kakara to beat up Fenrir. It's definitely good that I trained my weaponry so much. On day 100, while reveling in the glory of my Wizard Saint title, I was walking to the city when I heard something from above me and looked. An actual living dragon! I wondered just how long it would be before I'm able to defeat one. So that has been the 100 days of Fairy Tail Minecraft. So if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe, and please help support the channel by telling your friends, family and fellow gamers about us as well. So if you guys would like to see more of this kind of thing, you know what to do. Just let me know in the comments.